Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast.
Hello, who dat? Time to have a chat. I got a little story to tell. The new schedule is out, but I have doubts. Oh, yeah. Take off the DC, take off the OC, take off the Mighty, take off the Richard, take off the Rouchard, take off the Jarvis Landry, take off the same old thing, yeah, the same old stuff you said at the press conference. It's on me, it's the little things, ton of things we gotta clean up.
Take it off.
Take off the Zach Street, take off the Andy, take off the J-Bo, take off the Ronald Curry, he's a good coach, but what the hell do I know? Take off my Big Well, take off Marone, never seen the old line look this bad. Take off the DJ, take off the Cody, Joe Thomas packed his bag.
Take it off.
Take off the sassy walk, take off the trade talk, Marshon ain't going nowhere.
Take it off.
Take off the logic, car is the answer, please do not make me laugh.
Take it off.
Take off the headset, take off the visor, no adjustments in the second half. Take all that fake bravado, it's off and what do you have?
Woo! Dude, this dude can't coach.
You out of pocket.
Turning my squad into a joke.
You out of pocket.
Making us feel like we ain't got no hope.
You out of pocket.
If he can't get it together, he gotta go.
Get back in pocket. Saint fans in a panic, no home field advantage, that era is done. Sean Payton abandoned, the franchise is crashing, the rivals are laughing, but making them one. The Who That Nation clapping and dancing and screaming and singing at the top of their lungs. That's not the way you not showing us love. Being stubborn, not giving no what. I'm sorry, Gail, but I'm just telling you how I feel. We blue collar people and you worried about a couple bills. I'm done with the sensitive, taking it personal, done with the missing the goal, the hot and the cold. You're hoping for change and breakthroughs, but it never seems like they making a postseason.
Dude, this dude can't coach.
You out of pocket.
Turning my squad into a joke.
You out of pocket.
Making us feel like we ain't got no hope.
You out of pocket.
If he can't get it together, he gotta go.
Just like I said, yeah, I have my doubts, but that doesn't mean the Saints can't win the South. We got the Kubiak way now. We got the Kubiak way.
Can I tell you the truth? The team got the tools, they got what it takes to handle the job. But you be losing because you ain't come with a plan to neutralize Joshua Dobbs. Now come on, Dennis, you in this to win it. You really gotta show us you got what it takes. Now get to stepping, you need to start repping. The Who That Nation is losing their faith.
Turn up. Now think about this for a second. If the Saints didn't have Dennis Allen, the defense may be average, but the offense may start snapping. Where them hypocrites at? Who the team in the South that think they relevant? Where the hypocrites at? Who the team in the South that think they relevant? You out of pocket, TJ, you out of pocket.
It get hard.
You're not a real Saints fan, you need to stop it.
It get hard.
You're not a real fan, you'll suffer in silence.
It get hard.
They lost by 10, but sit there and like it. Tell me what the heck is going on. You got an issue with this team and then they say you wrong. New season, I believe that they can get on track. But if they can't, then it's time for DA to pack his bags.
Don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast, or from going forward, I will now be known as Timothy J. Jones here on the State of the Saints podcast, but going by my whole name this time around. But thank you all so much for tuning in, making the State of the Saints podcast a part of your listening and viewing pleasure. I'm going to be honest with you, Who That Nation. I'm going to keep it all the way a buck. Tonight, I'm probably never going to step foot in the Saints facility. Probably never going to step foot inside of a WWL Radio, booth or studio, because what I'm about to say tonight, I'm probably about to piss a lot of people off, because I was a little bit pissed off about what I heard from legendary Saints quarterback Bobby Hebert on WWL. before I get started, shouts out to everybody in the comments right now. Shouts out to everybody that's watching this right now. I hope everybody enjoyed their Memorial Day. Of course, we know what Memorial Day is about. It's about those individuals that paid the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom, exercising the liberties that we have today because of them. Shouts out to all the members of the armed forces, military veterans out there. Shouts out to my big brother Sam, who did 3 tours of Iraq and Afghanistan. He got home safely, man. And once again, rest in peace to all of the soldiers and the troops that put their lives on the line for all of us. But I want to just let this be known. If you're very sensitive about certain takes, you probably want to exit stage left. If you want a whole bunch of fluff talk, this ain't the show for you. I have already made up in my mind I am who I am. Not going to change for anybody. And it is what it is. If you want to be a part of the show, we're very interactive. I like to call us the most interactive Saints podcast on YouTube or any other place. All you have to do is put the comments in the chat. You can also comment on X. You can follow me at TJAYJones8. It's plain and simple. All right, plain and simple. All you have to do is put those comments in the chat.
Hey, what's going on? It's TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and we're about to do what it do, baby. You probably have something to say about the black and gold that's burning hard in your soul. Take those fingers, give them the working. Put them comments in the chat.
Put those comments, put them in the chat.
All you gotta do is go ahead and put them things in the chat.
I wanna hear what you gotta say.
I wanna hear from you.
Talk to me and not talk back.
Oh, you ain't gotta worry about it. All you gotta do is talk to me. I talk back to you now.
Put those comments, put them in the chat.
All you gotta do is put them comments in the chat.
I wanna hear what you gotta say.
I wanna hear from you.
Talk to me and not talk back.
Talk to me. I guarantee you, I'm gonna talk right back to you.
Nice.
That's right, y'all. All you got to do is put those comments in the chat. And for those that can't catch this live and probably catching it afterwards, shouts out to them after show boys.
Shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out to them after show boys. Shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out to them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys.
Shouts out to all the after show boys, after show girls out there. Let's go ahead and get started, man. Like I said before, if you're very sensitive and you want to hear a whole bunch of fluff, this ain't the show for you. Definitely not on this episode, because we need to have a conversation about WWL as a staff, record label, and mother-loving crew over there. Now, I will say this before I get started. WWL has played a vital role in my career path as a broadcaster. I fell in love with broadcasting because of WWL. I am a native of New Orleans. I grew up in the Ninth Ward. Grew up on Montague Street, North Priya. All right, I mean, I'm knee deep in the New Orleans game here. Jim Henderson, the legendary play-by-play guy, is the reason why I do broadcasting today. I grew up in the 90s where the Saints were terrible and the games were blacked out. So the only way you can hear what was going on if you listen to Jim Henderson and the late, great Hoagie Gajan. So I have nothing but respect for WWL, because, once again, if it probably wasn't for them, probably wouldn't be working at WLGI, probably wouldn't be doing this podcast, probably wouldn't even have the nerve to do so. So for that, I am going to give them credit where credit is due. But I will say this. There is something definitely that needs to change at WWL. Something definitely needs to change at WWL. Now, before I get into it, I'm going to go ahead and let you hear a little bit of what Bobby Hebert had to say here. Okay, this is Bobby Hebert talking about Saints cornerback Marshon Lattimore. Take a listen.
And what he's achieved on the field. And it's not a big fraternity, but he's the greatest Saints cornerback in Saints history. It's not even close. Now, your influence in the locker room, amongst your teammates, Not so much. I think very similar to Michael Thomas. When you guarantee a bunch of money, you better know that player's heart. Better know where they're coming from. No, Michael Thomas and Marshon Lattimore could still play at a high level. I don't know who's guiding them, who is influencing them. But listen, you can have their attitudes if you're playing individual sport. If you're playing golf or tennis, you can do what you want. Because if you win, it's because of you. If you lose, it's all about you. But you're playing a team sport and you influence in the locker room. No, again, Michael Thomas and Marshon Lattimore, they bad apples. They are bad apples, and then you reward them with a lot of money. Then they could do what the hell they want, and then they'll give you the middle finger, and then you can't control them. You might have to cut your losses. I can tell you right now, Jim Mora or Sean Payton, Marshon Lattimore's ass would be gone. Dennis Allen's trying to be a player's coach, trying to make it work out. When he said today, I perceive, because right now that Lattimore will be part of the team.
Right, had a positive talk with him.
A positive talk. But listen, a positive talk. No, I'm the coach. You're going to do what the hell I say. I'm the coach. You need to be a good leader. You need to be a good DeMario Davis. You need to be a good Cam Jordan. Lattimore is not those individuals.
So those comments come from legendary Saints quarterback Bobby Hebert on WWL. Now, that's only a snippet of what he said. Like, he went in, he said a whole lot of other things. I mean, a lot of disparaging remarks towards Marshon Lattimore. Said that the guy, like without any type of proof whatsoever, basically said that the guy smokes weed. Also made a comment in regards to him not being a good person. First off, I want to say this. Bobby Hebert has been on the State of the Saints podcast twice. I mean, I have Bobby Hebert's phone number. I text Bobby Hebert. But this needs to be said. What Bobby Hebert said on WWL, a lot of people can consider racist. It can be considered as bigoted comments that he said about Marshon Lattimore, as well as Michael Thomas. It's almost like you're saying, fall in line, boy. Do what I say, boy. You might as well just say that, because that's the way that it came out. And that clip that I got was from Inside of Black and Gold, which, with Steve Geller and, Jeff Nowak. Have no problem with them whatsoever, but I do have a problem with them kind of justifying what this dude said. It was wrong. 100% wrong. Absolutely wrong that you are up here questioning this man's integrity as a player. Marshon Lattimore, he was right with his first statement. I'm talking Bobby Hebert. He was right when he said that he is the greatest cornerback in Saints history. That is true. But just because this guy doesn't show up for OTAs does not make him a leader. Some guys march to the beat of their own drum. This guy goes out there and gives his all every single time he is on the field. This guy doesn't phone it in. If he did, then we wouldn't be calling him the greatest cornerback in the history of Saints football, but you are. The reason why Marshon Lattimore was not on the field was because he got injured, and the last time we seen him, he was being carted off the field in a game versus the Minnesota Vikings. So why would this guy go out here and jeopardize his career in a sport that has shown you that they will chew you up and spit you the hell out? And he should know this because he played the game of football, but he comes from an era of yesteryear, right? Where you basically play until they beat your brains in, and nobody said anything about it because they were questioning your toughness at this. But once again, this is the issue that I have with WWL. And tell me if I'm telling lies. How many African-American reporters or broadcasters have you seen at WWL? In your entire life that cover sports on WWL, besides Deuce McAllister, who played the game, how many African-American WWL broadcasters have you seen, have you listened to across the airwaves in their 100 years of existence? And this is the problem. How is it that a city that is mostly African American, at least when I was there, how can they not have any representation when it comes to how people feel? And better yet, why is it that I can go to Odyssey and pull up these clips? These are borderline racist remarks that this guy is making. WWL as a staff, label, and crew ought to be ashamed of themselves for allowing Bobby Hebert to spew this type of nonsense without any credible references. If you heard this from somebody, cite your sources, big dog. Triple OG, cite your sources. Because right now, if I'm Marshon Lattimore, I'm trying to call up my lawyer and trying to sue your ass and trying to get you off the airwaves. We got to get real here. Okay, we can't be up here trying to protect people and trying to not call them out for saying some stuff like this. This is absolutely ridiculous. But let's be real. Y'all don't want to know the real reason why Bobby Hebert can get on the airwaves and nobody says anything about it? Because you have a lot of people that live in the state of Louisiana that feel the same way Bobby Hebert do. And no, I don't feel bad about saying that because it's true. I grew up in Louisiana. I grew up in New Orleans. I don't think a lot of things have changed from the time that I left New Orleans at the age of 20. You still got a bunch of rednecks out there that still feel like them boys need to shut up and play football and don't say anything about it. Welcome to 2024, where the players, they control their own fate. Why should these guys go out here and try to play and put forth this type of effort to jeopardize their career? Because you know what they're going to do? They're going to do exactly what they did to Dalvin Bro. They're going to do exactly what they did to Keenan Lewis. They're going to do the same thing, which is chew them boys up, spit them out, and make it seem like it's their fault. We're going to tell the truth on this episode. A change needs to be made at WWL. I'm not saying you got to go completely black up in the joint, but you need some representation because we need somebody that can be able to combat this crap. Like, go counteract this bullshit. Excuse me. This is ridiculous, the fact that we're actually even dealing with this type of stuff. For Bobby Hebert to say that type of stuff on the airwaves and nobody says anything about it, and you probably got some people probably riding their car right now when they were listening to it in real time, co-signing the crap. Marshon Lattimore only did what so many other players have done this season. Myles Garrett did not show up to OTAs for the Cleveland Browns. David Njoku did not show up for OTAs for the Cleveland Browns. Amari Cooper did not show up. Jadeveon Clowney didn't show up for the Carolina Panthers. Mike Williams, who just signed from the Chargers to the Jets, did not show up at OTAs. Micah Parsons did not show up. CeeDee Lamb did not show up. But is Dallas Cowboy fans or the Jets fans or the Cleveland Brown fans up here chewing these boys out for not showing up? Hell no. Because they know when those guys show up, they're going to show the hell out. How many people can sit up here and say when Marshon Lattimore misses OTAs, he doesn't go out there and put forward his best effort? He had his best training camp he ever had last season. That came from Dennis Allen, the head coach. But we up here talking about OTAs. Alvin Kamara isn't there. And just because Demario Davis and Cam Jordan and Tyrann Mathieu decide to show up, that's not for everybody. It's optional. So why are we up here nitpicking this guy? Why? Because you want to do an interview with him and he don't want to talk? Some guys just don't like to talk. Some guys aren't as vocal and as animated as a Cam Jordan. Some people don't really speak with that fire and desire like a Demario Davis. That don't mean that this guy isn't a leader. That doesn't mean that this guy is not looked at and admired by the secondary. That doesn't mean that these guys don't respect him as a teammate. Cite your sources, Bobby Hebert. Cite your sources. That's all I got to say. Who told you this? Bobby Hebert ought to be ashamed of himself. It's one thing about being real and being honest and all that kind of stuff, but what he said was downright wrong. And WWL, for them to put that on wax for a bunch of other people to hear this, it's just downright disrespectful. It's disrespectful to Marshon Lattimore. It's disrespectful to Michael Thomas. It's disrespectful to all the players out there that put forth the effort to try to be the best that they can be. And for somebody to come out here and question a guy without no credible sources to back it up, it's disgusting. Downright disgusting. But once again, this is what happens when you don't have representation. This is what happens when you can live in a state that where you have a bunch of people with the same mind frame. Wheels keep on turning. And no, this isn't sour grapes. Have I applied for WWL before? Hell yeah. But this has nothing to do with it. This has everything to do with what's right. Everything to do with what's right. What he did was just downright wrong. And there's not a person that can tell me otherwise. You can't justify this. You can't clean this up. Bobby Hebert owes Marshon Lattimore an apology, unless he actually got some credible evidence to say that this guy isn't a good person, that this guy isn't a leader. Who's telling you this? Who's telling you this? Because I'm going to start believing that maybe somebody in an organization is trying to throw dirt on this man's name. So maybe they feeding you some stuff. I don't know. We all know how it goes when the players don't want to do what the organization wants them to do. We already know. So who's telling them this? That's all I want to know. Downright pathetic. Downright pathetic, man. And that's the reason why that's the reason why, people kind of tune out. Don't really listen. Because if you can come on the air talking like that, man, look, I'm not interested in what you got to say. Marshon Lattimore is the greatest cornerback the Saints have ever had. He's a top 5 cornerback in the entire NFL. And him not showing up to organize team activities, something that several players around the National Football League are not doing, and you're going to question this man as a human being because of that, and going to say just because that man got money. There's this saying on Dave Chappelle, right? He said it was a quote. It was supposed to be funny at the time, but it's like, you should never have given these N-words money. And that's basically what you're trying to say, Bobby Hebert, without saying it. So if this man just made enough money to feed his family, take care of family, like that'll be cool, right? But we see organizations use guys up, send them up on their merry little way after they feel like they're basically like chewed up pieces of gum that lost their flavor. And those organizations do what's best for the organization, right? But a player can't do what's best for himself. Somebody tell me how that makes sense. You know why you can't tell me? Because it doesn't make sense. So why can't players control their own destiny? Why can't players sit their ass at home? Why can't players spend those millions of dollars that they get to get the top of the line strength and conditioning coaches off-site, top of the line medical personnel with their own dime and work their ass off, and then when training camp comes around, they look like they never lost a step? Pathetic. Pathetic. Anybody that's rocking with that, anybody that's rocking with Bobby Hebert comments, you're a sucker. I mean that. You're a sucker. You're the problem. You're the problem. You got these old farts who, like they still got that same old, good old boy mind frame. And, they come up here and they say all these ridiculous things. And they try to justify it. And then once again, nobody calls them out on it. Nobody says anything about it. Put them back on there. Who the hell is he talking to? That's what I want to know. Damn sure ain't talking to me. Damn sure ain't talking to nobody else, because we ain't feeling what you're talking about. So who are you talking about? And once again, I don't care if somebody get mad. I don't care if this this completely like means that I don't get an opportunity to speak to anybody. What's right is right. And if you are enabling this bull crap, you are the problem. Because I refuse to sit up here and act as if this is cool, because it is not. And anybody that's sitting up here acting like this is cool, you're the problem too. And you can get off my platform. I mean it. Ain't trying to hear from you. Take that nonsensical bullshit somewhere else. Excuse my French tonight. I know I normally don't do that, but I'm just keeping it a buck. That was just downright disrespectful, what that dude did and what he said about Marshon Lattimore. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I'm going to read some of your comments. I'm fired up tonight. And like I said, I apologize for the harsh language, but when I see stuff like that, just makes me like just realize, man, like how far have we come? Like seriously, that somebody can literally sit up there and question a man's integrity. Question this man's integrity without any evidence, any credible evidence to justify, to back anything up. Calling this man a bad apple. Who told you this? Where's your proof? Where's the proof that Marshon Lattimore is causing corruption inside of the locker room? Besides probably feeling like he came in 2017, the first year his team was in the divisional round of the playoffs. The second year they were a game away from making a freaking Super Bowl. His third year they played in a wild card game. Then 2020 happened. And then 2020 happened. They played in a divisional round again. Then 2021, they missed the playoffs. Then 2022, they missed the playoffs. Then 2023, they missed the playoffs. So maybe this man sitting up in the locker room like, damn, we used to be winning and going to the playoff consistently, and now this guy shows up, and now we ain't winning. How dare he question that? How dare this man wants better for his team? That's anything in life. If you're busting your tail in anything in your life, if you're busting your tail and giving it your all, and somebody that's with you, that's supposed to be working alongside you, ain't putting forth their effort, that's going to tick you off too. So I guess we need to do what so many other people that we call out do, right? Which is not saying anything at all. And you got some clowns on there right now that's probably, man, yeah, I mean, he was hurt for the last 2 years, man. But let before 2017 happen. Praying to God that the Saints get a cornerback that can shut somebody down. Find any way to try to justify the bull crap. Man, well, if he played better, man, knock it off. As good as Paulson and the D-Boys played, Alontae Taylor, and this ain't a shot at them dudes because I think that they're pretty talented. They're not better than Marshon Lattimore. And I find it hysterically funny, like seriously, that you got people up here trying to make this like this is a Marshon issue, like we ain't watched over the last 2.5 years Dennis Allen fumble all over him damn self. But we supposed to act like that didn't happen. You had one of the easiest schedules in football last year and combine that with questionable quarterback play from your opposition, and you still couldn't make the playoffs. But it's Marshon Lattimore's fault. Give me a freaking break. Where they do that at? Where they do that at, folks? That's what I want to know. Man, I ain't about to play that game, man. I am not. I ain't about to play that game. We sitting up here, well, I heard that, Dennis Allen was getting his ass beat by some of these coaches out here and making him look like he was a grade schooler when it comes to the coach. They out here playing chess. He out here playing checkers. Everybody know what it is for Dennis Allen. We can pretend. We can act like all these different things have happened. And if Dennis Allen don't show up and show out, his ass ain't going to get fired. We can pretend. There's a reason why they brought in all them different coaches. You can't say on one hand, oh, we got the right people in the locker room. I mean, yeah, on the coaching staff, and then turn around and do a complete overhaul of the offense. You don't have the right people in the room. Because if you did, we wouldn't be talking about these new coaches. So obviously, what you were doing, you already conceded that it's not working. So if Marshon Lattimore has an issue with that, you're basically getting mad at him because he's telling you the truth. Oh, we can say it, but you can't. Man, it just don't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm looking at the comments right now, folks. I'm just reading through. Making statements right now. They not going to say anything about DA because New Orleans signing some checks. Look, I get it. I completely understand. But one thing I am not going to do, I ain't about to kiss nobody ass for no job and no access. I'm just not. I am not. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. If that means that you got to sugarcoat the bull crap to kick it, if that means that you got to go along and get along, like, I'm good with that. I get politics plays a role in mostly everything, but you got to call this stuff out. You got to call it out, man. What Bobby Hebert did was just straight up wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong. Like, that was, man, I'm telling you, like, what he did was just wrong. I mean, talking about the man, like, allegedly smoking weed. Like, the dude is just a laid-back dude. He never, like, Marshon has never been a rah-rah guy. Go back to his times at Ohio State. Guy has never been a rah-rah guy. You got guys that are rah-rah, that'll give you a good soundbite, that are a media person's dream, right? Because you can always get a good soundbite from them. And then there are guys where they not very vocal, but when they go out there on the field, you can see it. You can see it. They show through their play. They talk through their play. And I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with it. Like, how is that? Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you sit up here and, allegedly, say the guy smokes weed? Basically say this guy is not a good person? Like, how is this cool? Like, how do you do that is what I'm saying. And nobody says anything about it. I don't know, man. Praying to who? Says the truth hurt. The production of the show, top notch. Timothy Jones, the introduction is tight. You're telling the honest truth, preach on. Look, I already told you. Tonight, today, whatever you're watching this show, like, what transpired was just downright wrong. And honestly, like, that makes me, like, real talk, it makes me not even want to be interested in listening to WWL anymore. Like, like I said, I got nothing but respect for Steve Geller and Jeff Nowak. Both of the guys I've had on the show before. Jeff is a person that, I feel like, I kind of, I talk with, and, like, he gives good advice and stuff like that. Good person. But, man, look, what's wrong is wrong, man. You got to be able to call that stuff out. You got to, man. That kind of stuff right there is way, way out of pocket, man. Yeah, Bobby out of pocket with these comments. Agree with you, TJ. Yeah, man, it just was wrong. I subscribed because of Jeff. Yeah, like, man, look, Steve Geller, Jeff Nowak, man, I roll with them. They good dudes, like, good, solid dudes right there. Real good, solid dudes. They mean well. They work hard. They love their job. Nothing but respect for them, Like, but, man, that type of stuff right there, like I said, it just make you not even want to listen to WWL. But also, I will say this, like, it don't even have to be me. It don't have to be me. But they need some damn black representation at WWL. Because ain't nowhere in the world you got the right brother up in that joint. And he would have sit up there and let Bobby Hebert spit that bull crap on. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Ain't no justifying that, bruh. Ain't no way you about to have a brother. Man, ain't no way. Keep cooking, TJ. Glad you're the man to call out Bobby Bull. This is ridiculous. And if I was Marshon, I wouldn't accept his apology. Bobby dug himself a grave. What he said. Look, he meant what he said. He meant what he said. Like, seriously, that wasn't hot take, because Bobby isn't that type of person. Bobby speaks from the heart. And what they say, what's in the heart, the mouth speaketh. That's what the Bible say. And that's true. You know, that's just the truth. That's how he feels. So what you apologizing for? You basically told everybody your true feelings. It's basically, like I said, it's equivalent to somebody saying you should have never gave these N-words money. Like, it is. Because soon as you give them the money, they start acting out. Huh? Sound like some of them people in Louisiana when they talk about reparations. We telling the truth here. Somebody speaking the truth. Their truth. So what's the point of apologizing? Look, I will never apologize to anybody for telling the truth. I don't think that, look, I ain't never heard that. I never will do that. Like, if you telling the truth, you know, what you apologizing for? You telling your truth. So what do you need to apologize for? He meant that. So what are you supposed to say? I apologize for saying what I mean? He meant that. Racism is real. What did Bobby have to say about money management? I don't know what he said about money management. I don't know what he said about the money management. I don't think he said anything in regards to Marshon with his money management. He basically just said, like, when these guys get paid, that's when they really show their true feelings. But he failed to realize, and like I said, this is when you know it's true. He talked about Michael Thomas getting paid. Michael Thomas put up 149 receptions before the contract kicked in. So to say that this guy didn't care after he got paid, he basically just showed you that he actually cared. And the fact that he actually got hurt played a huge role in why this guy isn't here anymore. Has nothing to do with the fact that he don't care. Oh, yeah, I got $100 million so I can stop being good at football. I can stop caring. No, what these dudes want you to do is they want you to sit up there, basically get wheeled out there, concussed up, shot up, and then all of a sudden go out there for our amusement. Man, bump all that. I already told you. As much as I love Ryan Ramczyk, if he can't play, I don't want to see I don't want to see Ryan Ramczyk anymore on the football field, because Ryan Ramczyk is a human being with a family. I think he has like 2 kids and a wife. And this man is 30 years old. So this man got another 50 years to live according to, life expectancy. So why in the world would I want to see this man beat himself into the dust because he's good at being a right tackle? Why in the world would I want to see Marshon Lattimore jeopardize his future, or him walking on a cane, or being like Earl Campbell, who can barely even walk, a few yards without needing a wheelchair? Why would I want that? If the guy can't play, he can't play. We know what he is when he does play. So I'm not with it. I don't care how much money he got. I don't care what the contract entails. If this man got paid, he did what he needed to do in order for him to get the lump sum of money that he got. But this has shut up and dribble all over it. Like, for real. And it's amazing to me when it comes to Bobby Hebert. When this man crying and pouting and missing practices and stuff like that when he didn't get paid by New Orleans? Because last time that I checked, Then he go to Atlanta. So, I mean, come on, man. This is hypocrisy. This is borderline racism. This is bigotry, borderline. Like, it's all wrapped up in one. It's like this dude just had this out-of-body experience and just forgot that he played football. But confirmed that he from the state of Louisiana. They have the nerve to talk about players not buying in, shaking my head, buying into losing. Look, buying into losing is not what it is. We know that. It ain't what you look, nobody wants to be a loser, especially when you have had success, like instant success. You go to the divisional round of the playoffs in your very first year. You win Defensive Rookie of the Year in your very first year. The next year, you follow that up one game away and a controversial call away from playing in a Super Bowl in your second season in the National Football League. Third year, make the playoffs. Fourth year, make the playoffs. But once again, nobody wants to talk about that. We rather blame the players instead of blaming the organization for being too damn stubborn to make the changes necessary, too afraid to move on from the Sean Paytonisms until you just realize that it's passé. And it's more up the man than it was the staff. So now you got to scramble and everything else to try to make this team look credible for a coach that's not really good at being a head coach. And you can masquerade this. So what you're doing is, honestly, offensively, changing this whole thing around, you're basically masquerading it because as far as I'm concerned, if Clint Kubiak knocks it out of the park offensively, you're basically are going to have to reinvent this over and over and over again. And the moment that you can't, you're going to realize that he's a 9-8, 8-9, 7-10 coach. So basically, you're basically just putting a whole bunch of makeup on this person. It's almost like some of you probably seen this movie, but if you didn't, I encourage you to do so. Called I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. And there's a scene where Keenan Ivory Wayans, who was the main character on there, he went to the club and he took this woman home, right? He took her home and he was like, man, just, sit down and get yourself a little comfortable or whatever like that. Girl, she started taking off her wig, started taking off her eyelashes, started taking off her leg. Took all these different things off. Did not look like the person that he looked at the club. So what you're doing is you got the wig on, you got the makeup on, you got the eyelashes on, you got the leg on, and you're looking apart. But eventually, when you get home, you're going to figure out that everything ain't what it is. It ain't on up and up. So that's basically what you're doing. So you'll probably find success. I'm not saying this. I think the Saints are going to be successful. I think the Saints might be better than a lot of people think they are, including myself. But at the end of the day, what are you doing? Like, honestly, are you making your team better? Or are you setting yourself up for even bigger failure when you cannot replicate that if Clint Kubiak knocks it out of the park and he becomes a head coach somewhere else? Then you would have to go out here and try to find another offensive coordinator to do the same exact thing. So to me, like, you basically setting yourself up for failure because I do not believe in Dennis Allen as a head coach. I do not. Do I feel like they can do enough this season? Yes, because he's a really good defensive mind. So the defense is going to look good. So all you need is somebody to maybe do with the offense, deal with the offense. But you're asking to try to replicate that. See, when the Saints didn't have a defense when Sean Payton was the coach, he was a really good coach. So they were winning football games despite the fact that their defense was trash. If your offense is garbage, Dennis Allen isn't a good enough coach to win enough games to make the postseason. He's not. He has shown that. With the worst schedule in all of football, the easiest schedule, some of the worst quarterback play that you ever gonna see. And you only can muster up 9 wins and 8 losses. You are who you are at the end of the day. And like I said, it'll get better. So, he'll get better because I feel like Clint Kubiak pays attention to details. I feel like Dennis Allen going to get out his way, allow him to do the offensive thing, and they'll find success. But if they find success, guess what? Teams are going to want some of that. And they're going to call up Clint Kubiak, and he's going to become somebody head coach, and then you're going to find yourself being in the same predicament once again. So what are you actually doing? Are you setting your team up for success, or are you setting them up for even bigger blow when you can't replicate what you're doing this season? We'll see. TJ, you really think Loomis would pull the trigger on Allen if he had another bad year, given his supportive comments this offseason? Look, it ain't about what type of support he have. If he does not perform, if he does not deliver the goods, after all the changes that you have made, you are risking alienation. Like, you are alienating your fan base because you basically are saying it's not about what you want, it's about what I want. So if he decides this season that you're going to bring back Dennis Allen if he has another bad season, it's not about what's best for the team. It's about what you feel and what you want. And at the end of the day, can't have that. Because you're going to have Saints fans that are going to wash their hands of this team for real. Because now you got some Jerry Jones bull crap going on in New Orleans, where you keep on doing the same thing, expecting different results. That's insanity. Cutting your nose off to spite your face. So you better make the best. You better make the best decision, a better team decision. See, he can do whatever the hell he wants because he's third in command of the team. This is what people aren't hammering home. This is what they aren't hammering home. I am the one, like, honestly, the rumors, and I don't want to even call it rumors, but the fact that that's actually been around Saints circles, I brought that up. You can go back and you can look at Twitter. I brought it up. Now all of a sudden everybody like, well, he's third in command of the team. Nah, bro, give me my damn credit. I'm the one that brought that up. I'm the one that did that I went back and looked at that report on NOLA.com. The one that nobody really was paying that much attention to. This dude is third in command of the football team. That means Gail Benson, Dennis Lauscher, and then Mickey Loomis. So on top of being the general manager, he is the vice president of the New Orleans Saints. So if something was to happen to Gail or Dennis Lauscher, guess what? That means that he is in charge of this football team. I cannot stress that enough. He doesn't have to carry himself like a general manager. He doesn't have to look at his job as a do or die situation like some of these other general managers do. He can go out there and wet the bed year after year after year. You're in a freaking wheel. So unless they catch you drunk with scotch, rubbing on every woman on Bourbon Street somewhere, more than likely you're going to have this position for the rest of your days until you want to release this position and give it to somebody maybe more competent, like Kai Harley, who basically bails your ass out every single year when it comes to the cap situation. This is what not being said enough. So this dude can do whatever the heck he wants. So you can keep on doing this because you feel like, oh, it's New Orleans Saints and they're going to support the team. And you'll probably have some fools out there that just continue to support the team, even though they're doing what's best for themselves and not for the fan base, giving a product, want the product to look the way that they want the product to look. You'll have some people out here defending it and, coming into the comments and I'm a who that and you should support the team and you should show love to the team and you should believe. You're going to still have some fools out there that's still doing that stuff, but not me. Not a majority of the Who Dat Nation that's already kind of ready to sit back and watch these games at home. Like, people want results. Any business is if you want success, you got to deliver the goods. You can't just think people stupid because they're not. I already know Mickey Mouse Loomis see this like, ooh, perfect scapegoat in case our defense sucked this year. and not DA. Well, we not buying it. Not buying it. Not buying it. I already told you. Don't even take my word for it. Go with what your eyes see. Okay? Take the eye test. If you don't see it, if it ain't smelling right, it probably ain't right. It probably ain't right. Like, we ain't dumb. Like, look, some of us, we don't know the ins and outs of running a football team. We don't know about these cap situations or even like some of the schemes that are being ran. But we know what good football looks like. We know what a credible football team looks like. We know what it looks like. You don't have to be embedded inside of a locker room watching football, watching film all day, all night to know what good looks like. If I cook a hamburger right now and I just put that thing on there, I don't put no seasoning on there, I don't put no pepper on that joint, and I just fry it on both sides and give it to you, you gonna start chewing and be like, man, this thing ain't got no flavor. And you don't even have to know how to cook a hamburger. But you know what it needs in order for it to taste good. So you can't question the intelligence of the Who Dat Nation. And you can't get mad because they want the results that you showed them you're capable of getting. We're only calling you out. Like, if this was 90 Saints and they ain't never won nothing, then I can understand, like, y'all, like, okay, we ain't got nothing to compare it to. But when we seen success at the highest level, you want that. You want that. And you shouldn't feel bad about wanting that. And people out there that are trying to justify it, you shouldn't be out here justifying the bare minimum. The bar has set so low that people are around here justifying 9 and 8. Think about this. The Saints were the second winningest franchise in a decade. And you got people out here justifying 9 wins and 8 losses. That's how low the bar is set when it comes to Saint football in 2024. Nobody believes in this team. And when you call it out, oh, you're a hater. You're not a real fan. That's why I don't listen to you. Well, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. I don't want you to. I don't sit up here and say, please, pretty please listen to me. Listen to me, please. I don't care. What's right is right. You can sit up here and just suspend your imagination and act as if none of these things exist. Fine. That's you. But not me. I go by what I see. If they start winning, trust and believe. These shows would be a lot more like Saints friendly, and I guess in some people's eyes. But we're going to call it for what it is. This is a team that has been underachieving over the last couple of years. And we're going to talk accordingly. If my son comes home with an F, I'm not trying to turn an F into an A+. We need to address this F that you got on your report card. Even though my son is 5 and you don't get report cards, y'all get what I'm saying. I can't turn the report card to the side, turn it upside down and be like, well, no. Stop trying to turn chicken-ish into chicken salad because it's chicken-ish. I done used up my profanity quota for the night. So, come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Fun fact, we're not black, and but they're actually pink and not white. No exact. Well, I guess that's a good way of looking at it. In the words of Mike Singletary, I want winners. Exactly. Just want results, man. That's all. I'm gonna open up the phone lines, man. I think I talked enough. So I'm gonna hear from you all. I'll go ahead and open up the phone lines, see what you all have to say. We'll take a few. And asking everybody to kind of keep their comments at a minimum, especially if we have, quite a few people on here. Let's talk about the task at hand. All right. Let's talk about the task at hand. All right. let's make it short and sweet. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get to the point. You know, let's make sure that keep it at at a minimum. All right, so we can keep this thing going. All right, let's see a good night to address this. Yeah, Jerry. I seen this the other day, but I had so much other stuff going on. Quite honestly, man, like I was just dealing, you know what I'm saying, with some things and stuff like that. So couldn't get an opportunity to really address this. I mean, I was out in my yard, man. I was kind of straightening up a little bit. You know how you got your earbuds on and you're listening, and I'm like, what in the world? What in God's name is going on here? I'm like, how in the world is this on? Like, how in the world did they put this on? Like, I was disgusted. I was like, how in the world did this make the airwaves and nobody ain't say nothing about it? All right, we're gonna go to Jerry. Jerry, how you doing, man?
What's going on, TJ?
Hey, I'm doing all right, Jerry. A little upset, man. And
Hey,
I apologize for the language here tonight,
no,
man. For
no,
folk,
no,
but
no, no, no,
I gotta
TJ,
keep it. I gotta keep it a buck, man. I
bro.
had to keep it a buck, bro.
TJ, listen to me. I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told Dolph when he did his rant about Bobby Hebert Friday, and I'm gonna tell you the same thing that I told Big Q when he did his rant on Bobby Hebert, and I'm gonna say the same thing to you. Never apologize if you have something to say, whether it's cuss or not. Get it off your chest. That's why we the Who Dat Nation. We are here to address that. That's why we are here.
All right.
The fact that the truth had to be told. The truth had to be told. So never ever apologize for your actions, bro. You speak what's on your mind, and it has to be addressed.
Yeah, it had to be addressed in my opinion. I'm just calling it out, man. WWL, they ought to be ashamed of themselves for having that on Odyssey. Look, I'm gonna look at the camera and tell you this. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. But once again, and I'm gonna keep on lobbying for this. Don't have to be me. They need some African American representation at WWL. And I'm just asking everybody. I challenge you. In their 100 years of existence, have you ever heard a brother outside of maybe Deuce McAllister or maybe like some other Saints great that played football? Have you ever seen or heard anybody from WWL as a broadcaster on there? That's a minority. I'm just being honest. I have never heard it. Heard some Cajuns, of course. You know what I'm saying? But brothers, no, I have not. So we got to call it for what it is, man. Like, ain't no way in the world a brother gonna be sitting up there. I couldn't have. And I'm gonna have Bobby Hebert talking like that about Marshon Lattimore, bro. Like, hey, dog. That would have been a last.
Mike.
Huh? I think that would have been. I think that would have been my first and the last show I would have been on.
Hey, Mike. If you put yourself on mute, bro.
Everybody that's waiting in the queue here, ask everybody put themselves on mute.
Everybody mute. Everybody mute.
And there's also on the left side of the screen there should be a listen off stage feed. You probably can click that off, and that probably eliminate that as well if you see it. But if not, just everybody if they can mute their mics right now. Jules, can you mute your mic for a second, man? All right, thanks, man. All right, go ahead, Jerry. You good now?
Okay, everybody good now?
Yeah, I think everybody good. Still here, Echo?
Because I know everybody gonna have a say so, but it's gotta be one at a time. I mean, if it was like a round table, it's a whole different story.
Yeah, I got you, man. Go ahead.
But I want to say this, TJ, and I know everybody else getting ready to have a say so, but after what I heard, because Friday morning, if those who tuned in to hear Dolph on his take on what's going on, what you talking about right now, I have to say this. If anybody deserves to be the biggest dummy and talking down on Marshon Lattimore, calling him a rotten apple and a prima donna, is Bobby Hebert himself. Because remember, how you going to go from being a Saints quarterback to going to be a Falcons quarterback, Bobby Hebert? Why don't you explain that to the Who Dat Nation why you did it.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I don't care who he played for. Honestly, I don't care if he went from the Saints to the Falcons, the Saints to the Rams. Regardless to the fact, you took a stand when it came to your football career, right? The right thing to do was the way that you're making it seem is to take your ass to practice and not be sitting up here trying to, jeopardize the chemistry with the team. Instead, you threatened for a trade, right? You wanted a trade because they ain't pay you. So I don't understand it. Like, you can't sit up here and get mad at a guy for choosing himself first, and you chose yourself first when it came to the contract negotiations from the Saints and you going to the Falcons. I don't care. Like, that's a fact, Jack. Like, I understand that a lot of Saints fans don't remember that stuff because they're not old enough to, or they're not historically, inclined to know that. I mean, not historically inclined, but they probably don't know that if they don't follow the historical, points of the Saints football. But the fact is, you did it. And that's hypocrisy. So that's why I said it's hypocrisy, it's bigotry, it's borderline racism. And he had no business saying no stuff like that. And he shouldn't even get that man an apology. Because I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it again. He meant what he said. So what you need to apologize for when you meant what you said?
Yep. Look, there's an old saying, TJ, my grandmother used to say, had with is better than told. And I didn't understand what she was talking about. But after what I heard what Bobby Hebert said about Lattimore, that's what I just said right there. Had with is better than told. You can't change it. If you said what's on your mind, then fine. But don't call this man a prima donna or a freaking rotten apple when you was a prima donna and a rotten apple yourself.
If you call this man a rotten apple, look, everybody entitled to their opinion about how they feel about a person. But when you start talking about a person, I mean, him not being a good person, like, do you know this guy? You don't know him. How do you know that he's not a good person? When you start like saying a guy smoking weed, like, did you share a dub sack with him? You get what I'm saying? Like, where's your proof? Seriously.
Bobby Hebert was at that same question. Did he smoke weed?
That one, bruh. All I'm saying is, did y'all split? Did y'all split a dime bag? You know what I'm saying? That's all I want to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, what y'all smoking that Reggie? What y'all smoking that perp, that Kush? What was y'all smoking? Like, for you to sit up here and be so sure that this man was smoking some weed. That's all I want to know.
Exactly, TJ. But shouts out to my girl, Miss Barbara, that's in the chat, because she said it. I think she said it better than me. You can't turn a porch puppy into a mean ass dog. You can't. But I don't know if it's correct, Miss Barbara. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm just repeating what you said. You can't turn a porch puppy into a mean ass dog. You can't do it,
man. All I know is what he said was wrong. Period. I don't care who, like, bruh. I'm good, man. If that means that you got to sit up here and have this type of approach to get on, man, you could have it. What he did was just straight up wrong, man. And WWL needs some. They need some new blood up in there. They need a different perspective. Look, Bobby Hebert has been on the airwaves, I don't know, for a very, very long time. And I get it, right? People admire the heroes for the New Orleans Saints, and they look at them and they say their words are gospel and all that. But at the end of the day, bro, this ain't the move. This ain't the move. And the only way that something like this could be on the airwaves if you have a bunch of people out there that feel the same way that he does. Because if they don't, then they would be just like me, and they would be outraged, and you'll have people calling in saying, take that ish down. But ain't nobody said it because you got them good old boys down there, you know what I'm saying? And some of them parages, you tell them, Bobby. You tell them.
Yeah, say what's on your mind, Bobby.
Right. I wish I could call in right now. Like, hell out of here with that bull, man. Like, for real. miss me with that stuff, man. Like
I know that's right.
all in all in the swamp in the slums of Louisiana, bro. Look, you ain't about to tell. Like, I don't feel like this is downgrading Louisiana in any way. I'm from the city. I'm from New Orleans. Can't tell me nothing about people from Louisiana. I know. Look, racism is alive and well, and a lot of them people out there, they use these dudes for football and making them feel good about their high schools and colleges and stuff like that. But behind closed doors, man, wouldn't spit on them if they was on fire. Plain and simple. And you got a lot of people, once again, that feel the same way Bobby Hebert do. That's the reason why they can say it and put it on Odyssey and nobody says nothing about it. Plain and simple.
And let me say this right here, TJ, and I'm going to go ahead and jet up out of here. The only reason that I listen to WWL is when the Saints play football, because, you know, on Sundays, when they play on Sundays, you know, because I play drums every Sunday at church, every Sunday morning. After I'm finished, when the Saints have a noon game, the radio already going to be on for me to listen to until I get home. Right. That's the only time I listen to WWL radio. I don't listen to that other stuff, especially when Bobby Hebert on there. Man, bump all that.
Man, I already said it. Look, WWL played a huge role in my career path. I'm forever grateful to them because of that. Jim Henderson is like, that would be like him and Dan Rather, two of the, like, that would be like my bucket list interviews. Like, seriously. Dan Rather, because he lived through everything. He about 90 some odd years old. And then you got Jim Henderson, who been through the good, the bad, and the ugly of the New Orleans Saints. But yes, you got to call it for what it is, man. And they need, like, this is the reason why representation matters. This is the reason why you got to make sure that you have individuals that speak the language of the cultures, period. You can't just have like one like mind frame. And look, I've heard the phone calls. I've heard people call in. I heard the way that some of these people talk on there. Exactly. And a lot of them feel the same way they do. But Jerry, I got some calls I got to get to, but it's always a pleasure, man. And thank you so much for chiming in. We're gonna have to pick this up, man, again, you know, at a later date. But I really do appreciate this, man.
Yeah, anytime, TJ. And once again, man, never apologize, bro. I'm gonna say it again. Never apologize. If you have something to get off your chest, like I do, feel free to say it. We will listen and we will be right there with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. But
I love my Who That Nation out there. Love y'all. It ain't nothing y'all can do about it, because love is what love does.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I appreciate the love you show to the show, man, as always. But call back anytime, man.
We'll do, TJ. You have a blessed week, my brother. Happy Memorial Day, and salute to everybody.
Yeah, man. Same to you. Take care.
All right, you too.
Yeah, man. Shouts out to Jerry. But what happened was just wrong, downright wrong. I'm going to continue to say that. Going to sound like a broken record on this episode. I'm going to go ahead and keep it moving. I'll go to Pammy. Pammy, what's going on? Pammy, can you hear me? Thank you. Unmute your mic. All right, I think we'll get back to Pam. We'll go to Jules. Jules, how you doing, man? Unmute your mic, Jules. Thank you for muting it, man. You can unmute your mic now. We can't hear you. I can't hear you, Jules. Can you unmute your mic? Let me see if I can. There you go. I got you. I got you now. Yeah, I got you, man.
All right, man. I have a surprise for you. Can you still see me?
I can see.
Unmute,
I can see.
All right, man. Look. When you preach it today, TJ. Look, you preach so good, man. This is why I'm not a Saints fan. I had to break this out and surprise y'all. See this? This is my Saints Teddy Bridgewater jersey. Who that?
Yeah, Teddy B, man. Look, shouts out to Teddy B, man, out there coaching high school football now. Shouts out to him, man. Pammy, make sure you call back in. We'll get you back in here.
I've never been a Saints fan. Never been a Saints fan, but I bought this jersey because I supported the Saints that year. I want to see the Saints win myself. You know, that'd be good, man. But Bobby Hebert is a fucking scumbag. He's always, my bad.
Nah,
Scumbag and
man.
always.
Look. We all look. This is the type of show
I
we
know it.
having tonight. This is
That's
the show
why
we
I
having
never.
tonight,
That's
man.
why I never liked the Saints, because I know how they work. And look, what's up with the? You were talking about, speaking about upper management. Well, you said the third is running the team or whatever.
Right.
So, like, why are they behind on payments on the Superdome, getting it improved and stuff like that? Like who's in control of that? Who is in control of that? That's kind of embarrassing, right?
Well, they kind of put the Saints foot to the fire, man. When it came to it, they got the money to like pay these folks. Like they got it, but
Somebody said they're gonna be
they
playing inside there somewhere in a
basically
parking lot.
basically they just they put that out there for to kind of put the Saints foot to the fire. Of course, we know the Super
Okay.
Bowl is going to be in New Orleans and all these other things. So,
Yeah.
but they just did that because the Saints kind of they kind of like playing like the defensive position, and the state just kind of just put that out there. But they'll get it done. They'll get it
Hey,
done.
say, bro, like your introduction, I was like, there was nothing on TV today because it's Memorial Day, and I was like, this is like outstanding production and music. You did all that today, man. That took a lot of your time, bro. And like I'm like, I love your show, man. Keep on doing your thing and put your mind.
Yeah, thank you, man.
You
Jules,
did all that, man.
I'll
Like
take a
you're
lot of
gifted, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Look, I take a lot of pride in what I do, man. I take a lot of pride in trying to give everybody, some entertaining content, and just so people can enjoy it. That's the most important thing to me. If everybody's enjoying the show, look,
I love the show, man. Chosen was
that's
just on
thumbs
there
up for me.
before me. I was like, man, he was dropping it like it was hot, man. Like bam. That's the
Hey man,
yeah,
hey, we try to do what we can, man. We try to do
that's
what we
right.
can. Yeah, but Jules, like, it's
I'm
always
not
a
gonna
pleasure,
hold
man.
you up, man, but you man always thanks for having me, man. You be blessed, TJ.
You do the same, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Shouts out to Jules, man. Like, Jules is a Baltimore Ravens fan, but he always support the show, man. So yeah, I'm always gonna show love to Jules, man. Jules always showing love, man. Always here to chop it up, and real solid dude right there, man. Now we're gonna move on. We're gonna go to Pammy. Pammy, how you doing? Let me see if I can you can unmute yourself, Pammy.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear
Okay.
you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Hey, TJ, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's been a while, Pammy, but thank you so much for chiming in.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say I put the number to WWL in the comments. I'm personally going to call WWL tomorrow because I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you do have a manager that's over is it project? How does that go? Somebody has approved this, right?
Yeah, people have to approve it. But here's the thing. This is how radio works, right? All right, so
Okay.
there's, everything is basically controlled by the FCC, right? I mean,
Okay.
you can't be on, radio, cussing and using the F word and S word and all that kind of stuff. Those type of things, you can get shut down, right? But
Right.
also, there are certain things that people can say and do that can be considered, racist, things that can be, people can consider, prejudice against someone. Like, you can actually call in, and the general manager, their job is to make sure that the on-air talent understands that. They can also
Right.
decide what happens to that individual. Now, sometimes, like, when you chime in, nothing probably happened, because
Right.
it's probably their first time, nobody really says anything about it, so they'll just like give them a warning. Now, if it's something like
Right.
just absolutely egregious to a point where it's just like, nah, we just can't let this thing slide, then they got to do something, to kind of follow suit. But here's the difference.
Okay.
Like, in Louisiana, like we all know, like I said, when it comes to Saints players, we idolize them. And I think that a
Right.
lot of people like look at Bobby Hebert, regardless of how you may feel about him, they look at him as a star, a legend, right? And they
Right.
feel like his words are gospel. And once again, this
Right.
is Louisiana we're talking about. You got a lot of people that feel
Absolutely.
the same way he does. So when you combine that, like, I don't think anything was going to happen. But by calling in, like you're saying that you're going to do, it can, like, create some change, but
absolutely.
I don't see anything happening because it's Bobby freaking Hebert.
Me either. I don't, but I tell you what, we can put some pressure on their neck. I think what really, really pissed me off was, and excuse my language,
Nah, you good.
when he said he needs to go somewhere and learn how to talk. And it just kind of struck a chord with me, because I'm like, this young man has went to Ohio State. This ain't somebody you just picked up off the street and he started playing football. He had to have had some kind of smarts to get in school.
Right.
So don't, just because he doesn't have the vernacular that we can't even compare it to you, because you can't talk either. So you can't say anything about how he talked because your vernacular is horrible. So it struck a chord with me. And like Bruce Saint said in the comments, to me it felt personal. It wasn't like it was.
Yes, that's my whole point, Pam. It had like, I promise you, like, a person can basically write out what he said and put a Southern twang on it, and you would think like it's something that you heard from the 60s. Like, seriously.
Right.
Like, and that's the problem right there. But once again, nothing happens, and they felt well within their rights to publish that because people feel it that way. They feel the same way he does. They do.
Absolutely.
Like, that's Louisiana. That is Louisiana. That is Louisiana for real, for real. Like, that's the reason why nothing happens.
You're absolutely right, TJ, because I live in Shreveport. So you know that I know what goes down in Louisiana. And it's not, we can't even say now it's just the South. It's everywhere. It's a feeling that a lot of people have. And thank God everybody doesn't feel this way, but a lot of people do. And as you said, in the Bible, it says from the heart the mouth speaks. So that was something down in him that he wanted to get out. And it did when he started referencing Cam Jordan and DeMario Davis, like, they good niggas.
Exactly. Hey.
Oh, Lord.
Hey. Thank you. Hey. Why you can't be more like this boy right here? That's a good boy right there.
Yes.
That's
the feeling I got, TJ. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Whoa. See, these niggas dance when they supposed to dance. And see, you getting off step over here. You need to be like these good Negroes. And so that's what really, 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 really got me. So I am calling WWL tomorrow, because I am there. I don't care if they don't say anything about it. But I know I got it off my heart and my chest.
I advocate to do that, like, for real. Like, I'm not telling nobody to stop to not do that. What he said was just downright wrong. But what he said, and
it was,
and what you just said, that's why I'm alluding to the fact that, why you can't be more like that boy over there. Look at him.
Yes.
Look at him over there working hard, plowing that mule. Look at him.
Yes.
Why you can't work that hard? Look at this cotton sack. Like, y'all been out here all day. Look how he done had 3 sacks he done brought inside. You got 1.5.
That's right. That's right. You ain't plowing hard enough. Yeah. I just, it struck me wrong. So I had to call in, and I thank you. I thank Big Q for touching on this. I thank Dog for touching on this. And I think we need to speak out more. Let's stop just, that's just how Bobby Hebert is. Damn that. Bobby Hebert have to answer to someone too. He don't run that station. So that's the reason why I'm most definitely calling tomorrow. You can best believe that.
Yeah. I advocate for people who, feel that way. I mean, please, like, let them know about it. Man, it ain't just it ain't just Bobby Hebert, and white folk that be listening to that. Like African Americans, there's a strong representation in the city of New Orleans. Like, seriously,
absolutely.
You can't just be talking like you just talking to like one particular demographic. But once again, that's why I'm going to continue to advocate that they need representation. In 100 years of WWL, I think 101 years, if I'm not mistaken, I ain't never heard of an African American broadcaster on there. Besides, like, I'm talking about that has their own show. I like, please, somebody tell me which one. Maybe it was before my time, Maybe I missed
Right.
one, but I ain't never heard one. I ain't never heard outside like Deuce McAllister or somebody that used to play for the Saints.
Right.
I ain't
Right.
never heard African American broadcaster or any minority broadcaster on WWL ever.
Wow. That's sad. It truly is. But TJ, I'm not gonna take up any more of your time because I know you got more callers. Of course, I love the show. I love when you pop off some of them cuss words. I know you be I be go TJ go. So I know you had to say it though because it was on your heart. I'm like, okay, get it off the chest, TJ. I know you want to say it. Bam!
Yeah.
When you bust out with it, I said, oh, there it is.
Yeah, I had to let it be known tonight. Like I try to keep it, kind of built in, try to, kind of keep it as PG as possible. I couldn't.
I know.
I couldn't. Like not after what I heard. And I was
know.
like, man, trying to justify that, like, nah, that ain't cool. And I look,
Absolutely.
in a clip that I pulled up, I actually got from Inside Black and Gold with Steve Geller and Jeff No Way. I feel like with that clip right there with 1 minute and 30 seconds, that's not telling the whole story. That's not.
Right.
That is not telling the whole entire story, but it's for real. I mean, I got respect for them dudes, but that was not telling the whole story.
I knew it wasn't.
It was not. But yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I love you, TJ. You have a blessed night. We need the sound engineer Paxton back on his job for the summer, so tell him to come on in.
Yeah, he'll be here. I'm pretty sure he'll be around. He sleep right now. Of course, he got school tomorrow.
Okay.
But yeah, he ready to rock and roll. He ready to press
Good
some
deal.
buttons
Good deal.
and in the show. Press a button he don't need to press. He ready.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have a blessed night, TJ. Have a happy Memorial Day, the rest of your evening. And we love you. You keep doing what you're doing. We here to support you in every way possible.
All right. Thank you so much, Pammy. I love you too. And thank you so much for the support.
All right, darling.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Right. And shouts out to Pammy, man. Look, you gotta keep it real. You gotta keep it real, man. It just wasn't right. We're gonna keep it moving, man. We're gonna try to get through these calls. We got Josh. Josh, how you doing, man?
Wow, this is the first time I called in and got in like 30 seconds later.
Yeah, man. You kind of came in on the tail end of Pammy, but yeah, man.
Yeah.
Look, we talking about Bobby Hebert tonight. There's some controversial comments. I don't know if you heard it or not, but we kind of just talking about that. I don't know if you heard it or anything like that.
I caught a glimpse. Now, I've been doing homework all day because I'm in a crazy summer class right now, and it's taking up a lot of my time. But I did see an article or something like that saying that Bobby Hebert said something derogatory about Marshon Lattimore's commitment. I don't know the details of it, but I do know this much, and you can tell me the details in a second, but I do know this much. I'm going to stick up for Lat here because I don't think he's ever shown anything like a lack of commitment to playing anything except his best.
Mm-hmm.
He's not, what's his name out there, intentionally giving up on receiving routes. Who was it doing that last year again? What was his name? I'm sorry.
You said
He's a star, too.
You talking about the say that one more time? You kind of went in and out.
The receiver from last year, his name is slipping my mind right now. Star rookie receiver, but he was giving up on Derek Carr's routes.
Oh, Chris Olave.
Chris Olave. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never done anything like that. I don't know. I mean, people can say that he's got like a cocky vibe. I don't know. The man, I've never seen anything to question his commitment, but I'll let you spit back at me about that, I guess.
I ain't never heard it. I ain't never seen it.
Yeah.
And he's just a different cat. Like, you got guys that are gonna give you a great soundbite like Cam Jordan. Like Cam Jordan, just an animated, fun-loving guy. That's who he is. Demario Davis, he's more of a serious type guy. He'll give you a little bit of a soundbite, some gems in the process. He's a spiritual guy, right? But then you got Lattimore. I mean, he's just a guy that does his job. He's not trying to sit up here and trying to talk all day, talk all night. That's just not him. He's never been that way. But I don't think just because this guy doesn't talk to you or he's not sitting up there telling you everything that you want to hear or not giving you a bunch of information, that doesn't mean that he's not a leader. That doesn't mean that his teammates don't respect him. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have a commitment to the team. He's always, year after year after year, the best cornerback on the entire team, regardless of what the other guys do everybody is
top
basically
5 corner in the league.
Yeah, everybody's trying to catch up to him. Nobody sits up here and just says, you know why we're so hard on Alante Taylor and Paulson Adebo? It's because they're not Marshon Lattimore. If those guys came in and was like on that level they were at right now, we would just be hoping that they just get a little bit better. But the standard has been raised at the cornerback position because of this guy. And I just think they need to put some respect on this man's name. Like, seriously. Like, you can't
I'm in agreement.
I know. I know.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. And doesn't this guy, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't he have kind of a history of going after the character of other Saints players, if it's who I'm thinking of?
Well, I mean, Bobby Hebert, he's he kind of, straightforward and honest and stuff like that. Well, he tells his truth, right? But I also think that sometimes the way that he actually played the game and the way that, they played the game during his time, I think that he needs to understand that this is a completely different generation. Players during his time were basically at the mercy of organizations and coaches and all that other stuff because they had the power. But these guys now are understanding their power. That's why you can have players like Marvin Harrison Jr., who basically don't want to sign no contract for you to use his name, image, and likeness to sell jerseys. You got Shadur Sanders and Deion Sanders talking about how they don't want him to play for certain teams. You got individuals that are controlling their own destiny, and people don't like it. They don't like it because they're used to a certain type of status quo. But that's how things evolve. It's called evolution. Things aren't going to always stay the same. And right now, I just feel like Bobby Hebert looks at football in a certain way. But at the same time, that's fine. But what I don't agree with is you are putting dirt on a man's name, making disparaging remarks towards an individual where you have no credible evidence to back it up. Just basically your guts and your feelings. And especially when you are on the most powerful radio station in the entire state of Louisiana when it comes to sports. Everybody is listening to you. So with that, I just feel like there's a certain level of duty and commitment and decorum you have to carry yourself with. You can still be controversial and say some things and make people think, but when you start questioning a guy's integrity, that's when I got a problem with you. If you got some evidence, Josh, I'm cool. But when you don't, no, sir.
Well, see, TJ, and that's why, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your butt here, but I'm just telling you the truth. That's why it's a good thing that there's that the internet's here and podcasts like yours exist. Because like 10 or 15 years ago, if Mr. Hebert had said something like this, he might be the only guy out there on Saints radio or whatever, right? So the public would just react, it would just start a chain reaction, like, "Oh, I guess Marshon Lattimore is a jerk. Get him out of here." Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? And a huge chunk of the fan base would turn against him because of that one media source, which happened to be him, but happened to be Bobby. Just kind of dumping on him. But because podcasts like yours exist, that you can take somebody inside Marshon Lattimore as a human being, what he might be thinking, why he might be doing some things. The fan base can look to you and weigh what you're saying against what Bobby Hebert is saying, and then come to their own conclusions instead of just riding the wave of BS emotion that Bobby's putting out there. So that's why I'm thankful for podcasts like yours, man.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Also, Josh, you have individuals out there that take this guy's word as gospel because of who he is. That's just a fact. Like some people just feel like because of a person's credibility in sports, right? They feel like what they're getting is hard-hitting truth and honesty when it comes to certain things, and not looking at it like it's opinionated talk, which it is. Because once again, I have no problem with you saying that a guy has questionable character if you can back it up. But if you're just saying that a guy is a bad apple, if you're saying that he's not a good person, if you're saying that the guy looking like he's smoking weed, like when you say stuff like that, like you got to have some proof to go behind it. If you got some proof that cannot be disputed, fine. We got to have a conversation. But when you're just basically putting these remarks out there because that's how you feel, there's a certain duty. Like I work for WLGI out here in South Carolina. I cannot go on the air and basically just start airing out the artists that came on that I'm plugging right now. You just heard from this no good, low down, dirty individual Like, you can't do that. Like, seriously. Like, there's a certain duty that you have as a broadcaster. There's a responsibility. And that was the most careless take that I've ever heard on a radio airwaves. And for nothing to happen to him, no type of blowback. That tells me everything I need to know about my state, man. I'm sorry.
Man, TJ, you just reminded me of something, man. This is a little bit off subject, but okay, so I'm from Milwaukee, right?
Mm-hmm.
DJs in Milwaukee at the Hip Top station used to do that. Used to act like that. I remember when Tupac died, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And listen, Milwaukee was not in love with Tupac. And the reason, and so a lot of people called in dissing Tupac after the week that he died. And the reason for that is very simple. I don't know if you heard about this, but Tupac did a concert in Milwaukee in like 1994.
Mm-hmm.
And he was upset about some kid in Chicago, some really young kid named Yummy, getting killed in some sort of gang shootout, right?
Right.
And he knew that that Milwaukee had a lot of members of Chicago gangs, because they do. Like, have you heard of the GDs?
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee has more GDs than any place except Chicago, because Milwaukee and Chicago are so intertwined.
Yeah.
So anyway, I tell you this backstory to tell you this. Tupac comes out there and basically starts going off about, on the concert, and starts going off about this kid that got shot, because he sees the people in the crowd throwing their gang signs.
Right.
He starts saying, F Milwaukee, Milwaukee G's ain't nothing, blah, 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 right? He got chased down the street by like 300 GDs, dude. He got chased, and I don't know where he went, but they went to his hotel. They tore up everything in the hotel. This made national news. And I mean, they were gonna kill him if they got to him. But anyway, the radio station people, like the actual DJs, were basically just doing an F Tupac thing all night. So I mean, it's I don't know why that triggered that in my mind, but it just did. But no, you're absolutely right, man. Like, I think, but again, I guess, this guy, because of the internet, because of places like podcasts like yours, the amount of people that take his word as gospel is way lower than it once was.
Right.
So, I mean,
I agree with what you're saying. Like, you need platforms out here to combat that, but you also like have a large amount of individuals that feel like when you are a part of something, like I put it to you like this, and I'm not hating on anybody, but they'll like watch like shows like New Orleans Football. They'll watch shows like Locked On Saints. They'll watch shows like that, and they'll just say, well, they didn't say that. So what you're saying, like, if you're not around the team or you don't have anything, they feel like, man, you just ain't nobody, right? When a name is attached to it, they just feel like they're getting the best of the best. So even if I'm saying this stuff, even though I like to believe, like, man, I came from absolutely freaking nothing, and I'm in the same spaces as these guys, a lot of people don't realize that, because I'm not around the team, because I'm not, like in people's faces like that, right? But that's why I'm saying, like, it's so important for you to have that level of responsibility. When you have that level of responsibility, when you are a figurehead, you got to be able to tell people the real deal. And at the same time, you cannot go out here and just use disrespectful remarks. If Nick Underhill was to say something like that, like, honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like, that, you got some people out there will probably be buying what this dude's selling. That is the reason why you have to make sure that you are being responsible for what you are doing and what you are saying. And you cannot say these things if you don't have any proof behind it, because people are believing what you're saying. But Josh, we got to go ahead and pick this up, man, at another time, man. I got a few more calls I got to get to.
Yeah, go ahead and get to that, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. It's always great to talk to you, man. Thank you.
All right, brother.
All right, yeah. Man, shouts out to Josh, man. I mean, look, like, it's a responsibility that these people have. Yeah, it's a responsibility that people have. And when you are at a certain point, you got to understand who you are and what you represent. And what he represents is a bunch of people that remember him wearing the number 3, playing for the New Orleans Saints during the time when they had that monstrous defense, the Dome Patrol. And when he gets on there and he starts talking about people like Marshon Lattimore and Michael Thomas and all that kind of stuff, you got people that buying what he's selling. And don't miss me with that stuff. What? Oh yeah, people can understand. And nah. We see this all the time. We see this all the time. People sometimes they get a little sheepy, if you will. They feel like, oh, this person, oh, they love their family. Look at him. Look at him with his family right there. Look at him really putting his best foot forward. He telling it like it is, even though he's talking that straight up nonsense. People buy it. People follow. So if there's a responsibility that you carry with you, fair or unfair. Go to Josh. Josh, how you doing? All right, we're gonna go to Mike. Mike, how you doing, man? Mike, are you there? See if I can unmute you. Unmute your mic, Mike. I can hear you, man.
All right, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. What you got for us, Mike?
All right, so I just want to say this before this platform starts to kick me off for the 10th straight time.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on, man. I'm like, man. I see you in the green room. I'm like, man. But yeah, what you got for us, man?
Yeah, I think it's because my phone's overheating. But I gotta say this: if you believe that what Bobby Hebert said was correct, you are stupid. And I don't care. You can take that as disrespect. You can take that as being mean. You are stupid. Look, at the end of the day, I'm all about opinions, and you can have your own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What Bobby, not knowing what football is, Hebert said, was not an opinion. That was straight stupidness. Marshon Lattimore, you gotta know this dude's heart. What is that supposed to mean? Are we supposed to teleport inside his body and go inside his heart? And we're like, let's see. So his heart says he's a bad apple. Okay, we gotta trade him. We just saw what his heart said. Trade him now. Like, are we supposed to do that?
All right.
Last time I checked, we don't have teleportation powers. And last time I checked, you are being a hypocrite because look, people want to, like, I remember when Sean Payton left, this man said, well, people go after me because I left New Orleans to go to Atlanta. Bro, I don't want to hear that. You can say how New Orleans didn't want me.
We lost Mike. We lost Mike. But look, I get what he's saying, man. I echo the sentiments. Look, what he said was just downright wrong. It was ridiculous, and you are indeed a fool if you are buying that nonsense that he's talking about. Now we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man. I'll read a few more comments, then we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Let's see. Is my call worth a Pammy Award? Well, everybody comments a work, you know what I'm saying, an award. You know, if you're speaking your mind, if you're sharing your thoughts and your views and your feelings, you know, like, I'm all for it, right? But look, I'm not telling anybody like how to react. You know, Pammy called and said that she's gonna call WWL, and you know, that's not the first time I heard that. You know, I heard that you know, from several people that they were outraged about the whole situation. But I am not going to sit up here as a black man, as an African American man, and sit up here and say that this is cool. It is not. It is not. All right, and that kind of stuff right there just is not a good look for not only WWL but the state of Louisiana as well. It's just not. It just not. I would be doing you all a disservice if I didn't talk about this and how I feel about it. And you know, that ain't the type of person I want to be, to just sit here in silence. Like, I ain't seen a check. I ain't seen a check yet, Who That Nation, for me to be sitting up here and acting like this gonna be cool. Because it is not. Lattimore been on the team since 2017. Never heard of a failed drug test. That's what I'm saying. Where's the whole thing? And then he said Lattimore and Brandon Ingram should lawyer you up. Yeah, he also mentioned Brandon Ingram. Like how is this cool? How can you just sit up here and basically just say that a guy smokes weed like with no evidence whatsoever? How can you sit up here and just basically just insinuate these type of things without no credible evidence, and nobody says nothing at all. Man, it's like that is slander of the highest order. That is slander. They need to sue that man for that. What, like, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. But let me go ahead and let Mike finish up. Mike, are you still there? Let Mike finish up.
I hope so.
All right. So yeah, we heard you talking about Bobby Hebert and people that buying what he's selling are stupid. Yeah, you can pick up from there.
Yeah. like I was saying before they kicked out for the 55th time. Bobby Hater, that's what I'm starting calling him. Bobby Hate Bear. All he does is speak whatever he feels is a trending topic. That man never speaks from the heart. And if you tell me that he does, you are stupid, and you can take that as disrespect all you want. Because at the end of the day, I don't care. C-A-R-E. I don't do that. I don't care. I speak my mind, you speak yours.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem, Mike. The problem is that he actually believes in what he's saying. That's the thing. Like that's the whole problem here. The fact that he felt empowered enough in order for him to say that, and also the fact that nothing happened because of it. That's my biggest issue. Yeah. He shouldn't have said that. Like you're not going to say anything like that or even go there if there wasn't validity on your part, that you felt that way. Like you felt validated to do that. And when you can say stuff like that, man, Mike, that is not cool. That is not cool, man. And I just wish that I just wish they would have like more representation. That's all I'm saying. I ain't just like you need representation, because you needed some at that time. You needed somebody to let him know that he was wrong. But when you don't have that, it's a problem. It's a problem. Yeah. You got anything else, man?
Yeah, one more thing, right? Uh-huh. People say that they're going to call in the WWL, and you have all the right to. I am not going to give my phone number or my words or my name to any of those people up there at WWL. Look, I respect Jeff. I respect most of the people that work there. But the only reason I was even in WWL was because of Jeff. So you can say how I'm I'm a Saints hater, man. At the end of the day, we both bleed black and gold. But the Saints are always going to be my number one priority in football terms. And Bobby Hebert, you are the reason that people are tuning out of this sport. So, you know how people told LeBron just to shut up and dribble? How about you shut up and speak facts and not dumb stuff?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But hopefully, hopefully something comes from this, like something that's positive. I don't want to hear that type of stuff anymore, man. I just don't. Like that kind of stuff right there just makes me like not even interested in WWL. Like and like I said, I have nothing but respect for the individuals that work there. Jeff Nowak, Steve Geller, Scoot, all these other individuals that are there. Deuce McAllister, Mike Hoss. He's been on the show, the play-by-play guy for the Saints. Nothing but respect for those individuals, but you got to call it out, man. I even got I got respect for Bobby Hebert in certain regards, but in this case, I do not respect his take. And that's the type of stuff that just makes people like just not interested in WWL, because it makes them look like they out of touch. And you gotta read the Pulse, or maybe they are reading the Pulse, which is the problem. But Mike, thank you so much, man. Thank you for chiming in. It's always a pleasure, man. Let everybody know about your channel, man.
Yeah, man. I on the channel called Hurricane Mike. In fact, I actually saw that TJ subscribed, so shout out to TJ.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, of course.
But so I'm just letting you know, this upcoming season, man, once I get to that 100 subscriber mark, and even if I don't, man, I'm telling you, we're gonna have a before the game show and after the game show, and we're going to go crazy, longest shows I've ever been in my life. It's gonna go bananas.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm looking forward to it. You're gonna have 100 subscribers. You're gonna have 1,000 subscribers in no time, man. Just keep being true to yourself. Continue to work hard, man, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy making that content, and people ain't gonna have no choice but to subscribe, man. All right, but you take care, buddy. Get yourself some sleep, man. Don't you got school tomorrow?
No, I don't. Summertime.
Okay, summertime. All right, man. But yeah, man, enjoy your summer, man. Call back anytime. Yeah, shouts out to Mike, man. Look, change needs to be made over there. I ain't saying that Bobby Hebert gotta lose his job, man, but something has to come of this. And once again, that's why representation matters, folks. That's why representation matters. It's not about just one, the whole thing to look black or Hispanic, but you need representation, man. At that time, you needed somebody in that room and say, "Whoa, bro, hold on, bro, hold the hell up." Like, you needed that. I don't care if it was I don't even want to say on a commercial break. You call that on air, right? Like, you call that out. Be like, nah, that ain't the move, Bobby. That ain't it, bro. Like, seriously. Like, that's why you need that. You don't need justification, But that's why you need it, man. And hopefully, like I said, we won't hear no stuff like that again. I'm not, like I said, I ain't advocating for the man to lose his job, but I am advocating for something to come of this, because you can't be saying that kind of stuff without no evidence. Bobby Hebert doesn't have a history of this level that he stopped down to. Doesn't he? Maybe he was just having a bad day, but he should apologize immediately. Well, look, like I said, man, I got nothing. I respect Bobby Hebert. Like, Bobby Hebert has been on this podcast twice, and I mean, as far as I know, the conversations that I had, he's always been professional. He's always, treating me well, as far as that. But, in this particular case is wrong. It's no different between you telling somebody that you care about that they're wrong. Like, if you love somebody or you got respect for them, like, you should be able to tell them that what they said wasn't right. And this is, look, I'm 37, Bobby in his 60s, but still, you still can learn something from a person. And sometimes, you've been away for so long and things have been a certain way for so long, you don't even realize that what you're saying is wrong, and it's considered culturally clueless. You can't be talking like this on the air, man. And from that perspective, I can understand. I can tell you that because I am on the airwaves every single day. Every single day. So I know there's a responsibility that you have, and there are things that you can't just be coming out here saying. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, man. I'm just asking everybody who's in the chat right now. Well, not in the chat, but the ones that call, wanted to call in, we're going to go ahead and end the show, man. So Josh and Donald, I'm going to have to get to y'all next time. But thank y'all for chiming in. I'm going to read a few more comments. And then we'll go ahead and get up out of here, because I don't feel like I really addressed the comments that much tonight. I mean, I think it was a pretty good show, a very informative show. Shouts out to the people that actually did chime in, showing that bravery. What happened to Brandon Ingram? Brandon Ingram was kind of incorporated into the rhetoric, and when Bobby started to talk about players smoking weed or insinuating that they do smoke weed. Now, I don't know if the dude smoke weed or not. I don't know. I heard somebody in the chat or seen somebody in the chat say ain't nothing wrong with smoking weed. Hey, it is what it is. Whatever, how you feel about it. Look, I ain't trying to look. Some people feel like it's a good thing. Some people feel like it's a bad thing. Whatever side of the fence you sitting on, hey, I'm not here to judge anybody. But I will say this. You can't just go out here and insinuate and say these things on the airwaves as if they are true. Like, you seen this man, like you caught this man on the side of the building, smoking on some perk to ease his mind. Like, I just, you just got to have some proof if you're going to be sitting up here talking like that. All right, that's all I'm saying. Hit that like button before you leave. Yeah, please hit the like button. If you enjoy the show, please hit the like button. We're trying to grow over here. All right, we're trying to grow over here, and I need your help. So if you can hit the like button, It's so many shows that we be doing. I'll be seeing over 1,000 people that viewed it, 100 likes. Like, what the hell, man? Come on, man. Like, all you gotta do is just hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. So many people that watch the show all the time don't not subscribe. Like, what's up with that? Like, y'all don't like me or something? Like, what's going on here? Like, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Like, please. All right, I would really appreciate that. I would appreciate if you do that. We work really hard over here, try to give you really informative, hard hitting, fun content. So please return in kind by hitting the like button. Looking forward to this week OTAs, man. We ain't even talk about football on this episode at all, which means that we got to do another show tomorrow to talk about OTAs. I am looking forward to OTAs. I am looking forward to what's going to go on. Some of the things that are happening, a lot of positive things that are happening when it comes to Clint Kubiak's offense and what it's going to look like. There's some players that are going to be taking that step forward, or at least try to. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to talking about some football and not this stuff right here. But I feel like it needed to be addressed. I mean, it needed to be addressed. Basically calling him a weed head, I guess. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't do that. Can't do that, man. Marshon deleted All Saints pick off his gram. Well, look. I mean, can you blame him? You know what I'm saying? At this point, I mean, I don't know, man. When somebody can sit up there and just say that kind of stuff, man, ain't nothing come of it. I can't blame him. I can't blame him. But at the same time, well, at the same time, man can do what he wants on his social media. Man can do what he wants on his social media. And then we all know how it go, man. I mean, the players gonna always look bad. They gonna always look bad. The organization, it's just amazing to me how when the organization struggle and it's always the player fault, nobody ever really say anything about the coach or anything like that. It's always the players not doing what the coach telling them to do. And then at the end of the season, all of a sudden, the coach get fired. So I don't know, man. It's just amazing to me, like how players always seem to be the scapegoat. Always seem to be the scapegoat in these situations, man. So I mean, I don't understand it. Shouts out to B Mac. I thought that was Brian McFadden up in this. I thought that was my guy, but he's still my guy, B Mac. But yeah, man, that's my final thoughts. My final thoughts on the State of the Saints podcast here. Once again, my name is Timothy J. Jones. Bobby Hebert was wrong for what he said. Should he apologize? I don't think he should apologize because he told his truth. That's how he felt. I feel like if he does, it's just basically PR stuff. There's a responsibility as a broadcaster for you not to be putting information out there like that. That is slandering a guy if you don't have proof of said slander. Marshon Lattimore is an incredibly talented guy. Him missing OTAs is not a deal breaker to me. Doesn't mean that he's not a good teammate. Doesn't mean that he's not a good person. Doesn't mean that he's not going to go hard this season. I mentioned several other guys who are really good key contributors to their team, have been with their team for a long time, are difference makers on their team, and they ain't there. Myles Garrett ain't at practice. Amari Cooper ain't at practice. David Njoku ain't at practice. That's the Cleveland Browns. Mike Williams ain't at practice. Brian Burns isn't at practice. Jadeveon Clowney isn't at practice. I don't think Kyle Pitts is at practice. All these different guys that I just mentioned. Alvin Kamara is not at OTAs. And it's not a deal breaker. And I expect for all those guys to contribute to their football team. It's voluntary, right? It is if you want to or not. If that man wants to work off campus, if this man wants to invest in his own self and his own little private workouts, that's on him. But I guarantee he'll be ready for training camp. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Marshon Lattimore going to do. But I don't feel like this man needs to apologize because he already said it's true. And the fact that nothing happened to him, I'm more disgusted at the state of Louisiana than anything. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. The fact that nobody said anything or they feel like it was well within their right to publish that just tells me everything I need to know about my state. And I am ashamed of the state of Louisiana for that. Because the state of Louisiana, empowered by Hebert, to be able to have the balls to sit up there and go on the air and say some stuff like that without any credible evidence. So some changes needs to be, some change, some talking to needs to be taking place. I am going to continue to advocate for representation at WWL. I feel like if you did have that, once again, I don't think you would be having this conversation, because you need individuals that can be able to help you understand where certain cultures are coming from. And when you don't have that in your 101 years of existence, you have Bobby Hebert's comments. But once again, thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. YouTube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. Also, you can check out the Gumbo Pie Sports podcast. That is available as well. We're going to be talking NFL football on that channel pretty soon. So make sure that you subscribe to that. It's going to be kind of different. I've been trying to wait and kind of figure out how I was going to approach that channel. But I just feel like it gives me a little bit more options to be able to get more guests and make them, more willing to come. Because, a lot of like national reporters don't really follow the Saints like that. So, that's why I get back quite a bit. So want to talk about other sports. If you're into NFL, college, all that kind of stuff that's coming up, be sure to be on the lookout for the Gumbo Pot Sports Podcast. Also, you can follow me on Bleacher Report. Download the Bleacher Report app, and you can check out Saints Talk with Timothy J. Jones. And also, you can follow me on Twitter at TJAYJones8. Shouts out to everybody in the chat right now. Shouts out to the people that watching this couldn't make it on the live. Once again, shouts out to all them after show boys.
Shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out to them after show boys. Shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out to them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys.
Yeah, shouts out to all them after show boys out there. Somebody says, if anyone finds him racist, let me know. It's not about being racist, man. Look, it's about being culturally clueless. See, that's the thing. We like to, yes, I'm about to say this. We like to wrap things up and like to label people. Just because a person may not be racist doesn't mean that they can't say something that's racial. Doesn't mean that you can't say something that can't offend anybody. For example, if you say something to, I don't know, your wife or your girlfriend or something like that that's inappropriate, doesn't mean you don't love them. You probably don't even know it at the time until they tell you, well, you know what, man, I don't feel like you should have said this. So here's the thing. Like, we got to stop doing it. We got to stop doing it. Just because a person, like, oh, man, well, see, that's the type of talk that get people in trouble. I got a bunch of white friends. I got a bunch of black friends. I hang out with black people all the time. I just went to a barbecue across the street from my house. Black people was having it. Like, this is the thing. It's not about that. Doesn't mean that what you're saying is not inappropriate. So it's not about being racist. But you can say some ish that's racial. And it still can hurt people. And it still can bother people. And for that, you can't say that stuff. And also, once again, that is why representation matters. That is why it matters. Because if you didn't have black brothers like me saying that what you're saying is inappropriate, who the hell gonna say it? In that environment. So just because you may not be racist doesn't mean that you can't say some stuff that is racial. I want people to understand that. I know we live in this Gen Z world where we like to label people. You say one thing that can be considered racist, you're racist. You're racist. That's what you are. That's what you are. That's what you always been. Bump, you've been best friends with African American and married to a black woman or a black man. You're a racist. Like, we like to put labels like that. Doesn't mean that you ain't saying something that's racial if you ain't, don't mean you racist. But still, you can say something that's completely insensitive to a person and hurt their feelings. or you can say something that bothers them, to a point where they become disinterested in you. So there's a responsibility to that. Let's stop with the label stuff, right? Let's start with the label stuff. That's why we can't have conversations right now, because we're so quick to just basically throw everybody away. But this right here, to me, is a teachable lesson, because I do agree. I don't think that Bobby Hebert is a racist. I don't. But still, you need to have these conversations, because you need to tell people how to treat you and how your words can look in the eyes of individuals that don't look like you. Just some food for thought. But until next time, all I got to say is, who dat?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.